In this video, we talk about intermittent fasting in detail.
Intermittent fasting, and that's basically when you have an absence from eating, putting food in your mouth, eating, okay? So,
but eating on a schedule, intermittent means continuously, like a schedule base.
A scheduled fasting. So intermittent fasting would be like you're not eating from 12 hours, okay? And that could be from the time you laid your head down at night to the time you woke up, or the next day, that same time that you will be eating again. So that could be 12 hours. We like to move it up to like slowly, gradually, depending on where you are, how you're eating already. If you have ever fasted before, move you up gradually to 16 hours. That's when you really start reaping a lot of health benefits when you get to that 16-hour mark and above. So we like to start most people in the basic level at 12, and then schedule your way up unless you've already been intermittent fasting or already been used to that kind of lifestyle as far as eating healthier.
And also due to their goals and issues and conditions what they have going on. So basically what led us to really talk about it is one of our foundational teachings.
That intermittent fasting is very, 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 very important. A foundational principle for NuLifeFit family, okay? So what will not break my fast? So water doesn't break your fast. Sparkling water doesn't break your fast, as long as it doesn't have any additives in it, okay? It's good. And I think one of the benefits of that sparkling water as well, you said that it curbs your appetite.
Oh, yeah.
Does it curb your appetite? Yeah. It curbs your appetite. Black coffee is good as well. That means no cream, no sugar, just black coffee. I know that it's going to take, if you're a coffee drinker, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. Apple cider vinegar with the mother in it is very, very good for our digestive system as well, and it doesn't break your fast, and it also curbs your appetite, and it gives you energy as well. And that's really natural, the apple cider vinegar with the mother in it. So that's one of my favorites right there. And then herbal teas like green tea, they don't break your fast. Most of them now, okay? Not all of them. There are some like your peach teas, and when you start to get more into the fruit teas, those will break your fast, okay? So sticking close to your herbal teas. Green tea is amazing for our bodies, full of antioxidant. It actually helps to increase your metabolism. It's great for energy. It's good for, help me out, curbing your appetite as well. I don't know if I mentioned that already.
Youth-wise, literally in China, we can do a whole talk on green tea, but basically here in America, our foundational drink, we already know, is sodas. It's everywhere. That's the first thing they ask you, what kind of soda do you want? You want to go in a restaurant, something to eat. Yeah. You holler at me, they have no other varieties. People think they're going to get something healthy to drink at the restaurant. They call it a Diet Coke. Give me a Diet Coke, even the sweet tea. So literally, we can wrap our mind of drinking like green teas and getting teas in your diet, by you actually drinking something that has a lot of healing properties to it.
Very nutritional for our body. So these are things that we would recommend you drinking, because of course when you're fasting you should not be eating anything, but definitely to drink. You can have water, sparkling water, black coffee, apple cider vinegar, and teas. They will not break your fast, okay? So what are some benefits to intermittent fasting? Fat loss. Oh my goodness. When you actually start intermittent fasting, what you're tapping into, those fat stores. So what you are going to notice is that you're going to start to lose fat, probably more so around the waist area. That's where most people start to notice their weight loss at the very first thing. That's the very first thing. And the first thing that it's going to start doing is eating up that fat around your organs. And then it's going to start getting into that visceral fat right there around that waist, okay? So fat loss is amazing for that burn. You can turn into what we call a fat burning machine by intermittent fasting, okay?
And before you go to the next one, this clarity. Actually, there's a diet out there what they call ketosis. Keto diet, where actually you can go into ketosis naturally. It's amazing how your body was created. Once you use up all the glucose out of your body, you literally goes from burning glucose or burning sugar for energy to burning fat for energy. So therefore, you literally, like Ayana just stated, a fat burning machine. So literally, It's amazing when it comes to fat loss, weight loss, you know.
Yeah. And another benefit to it as well is mental clarity. And then when you want to talk about mental clarity, you can also talk about on a spiritual level how it just gives you clarity. Okay, it kind of opens you up to be more how can I say, more receptive of things that you are looking for. So let's say prayer. That's one of the biggest things that we tell people when you're intermittent fasting, that you need to make sure that you have a prayerful life. Why? Because you're open. Your mentality, your mind is like wide open. So you want to be careful what you're letting in, what you're looking at, what you're hearing. You want to be careful of those things as well. And even in the Bible, it talks about how intermittent fast, not intermittent, it doesn't say intermittent fast, it says fasting is definitely great, not just for spiritual reasons, but it's also great for physical ability reasons as well. In Matthew 6, I think it talks about, you know, when we fast and having that continence, fasting also gives you energy. And why? Because it's tapping into those fat stores. So where the sugar, basically what happens, right? So you're taking in sugar instantly. Our bodies need sugar. It needs it for fuel, for energy, right? But when we're taking in too much of those sugars, too much of those, high carb foods, what's happening is our bodies, our blood is taking what it needs to take. The energy, our body takes everything it needs to take for energy. But then whatever extra, which is a lot of times, if you're eating American standard diet, it goes into those fat storages and it stays there. So it stays there as fat, right? So when you're intermittent fasting, what it does is it goes into those fat storage and pull those fat, that sugar out, and it uses it for energy. So you gain more energy as well. So I remember when I was reading Matthew 6 and it talks about, when we fast, being careful of our consonants, like our face shouldn't say, oh, yeah, I'm fasting. It shouldn't be like that. Like you should be full of, energy, life, joy. Like you should be good. If it is like that, on day one, okay, get yourself together, definitely pray, but you should definitely start within the next couple of days. Notice that your energy level is gone to a whole nother level. Better quality of sleep. I know I don't have that here, but you're going to notice better quality of sleep as well. Lean muscle, decreased risk of cancer. It talks about when you start to research on intermittent fasting and fasting, how it actually taps into this thing called autophagy. And autophagy is basically where your body is actually going in and cleaning up those cells in your body, those bad cells in our bodies. And I know we're getting short on time, but this is great stuff, y'all. And I know we had a little 5-minute break there, so I'm gonna keep going. Okay, decreased blood pressure, decreased blood sugar, decreased cholesterol. So all of these things should be things that are definitely NuLifeFit family members should notice, especially if you're following the principles. And we believe that everyone is following those principles, not necessarily perfectly, but definitely consistently. So these are the benefits that you would definitely notice.
And so much more. We could go down the road literally, but we just want to touch on it. When you talk about intermittent fasting, you talk about, they call it the fountain of youth. Fountain of youth. You literally, your growth hormone is literally being increased at an all-time high. So we're gonna go on a little bit. Just want to touch on it just a little bit, but please know it's a foundational principle for NuLifeFit for a particular reason. It's a natural. It's just a natural state your body goes into, from not consuming, certain foods for a certain period of time. So it is something that we are very big on, and we strongly recommend. This is something you can create a lifestyle with as well. Like Ayana just stated, maybe the past couple of months or so, you may not have been doing it as consistent as possible, but it's just something you can jump in right away, and whenever. But intermittent fasting is a way to help detox your body naturally as well.
Absolutely. And it's free.
It's free
and it's flexible. Like, you don't have to go buy a whole bunch of supplements. You don't have to go, buy this. You can, but you don't have to. Like, literally, you have intermittent fasting. It's free and it's flexible. You can make it fit into your time frame, however it is that you eat however your family eat. If your family eats late, then your time might be a little later. You know, if your family eats early, then your time might be a little earlier. So just make it fit into your lifestyle. So with the intermittent fasting, you know, you can start at whatever time works best for you. Let's say 9 o'clock. If you're a beginner, it's 9 o'clock. And then you won't eat again until after 9 o'clock that next morning. Okay. So, but then you want to ramp it up. You want to keep ramping it up, maybe an hour every 2 or 3 days or a week or whatever, but just ramp it up till you get to that 16-hour point. And then the more you go from there, even the better quality, the better benefits that you're going to notice.
But one last thing before we move on. Mm-hmm. You don't want to get to the point where you're stressing yourself because from the time per se. Anytime you start stressing yourself, you literally want to take a step back and see what's really going on and just, you know, just re-examine. Because once you start stressing and it's just like, you know, a lot of pressure, I ain't ate by a certain time and you upset and then, you know, no, it ain't worth it because other things gonna be starting to come into place and you're not gonna be getting the benefits of what you're trying to do anyway, you know, so.
And that goes back to that clarity, you know, having that clarity, making sure you're in the right space when you are fasting. That is very important, very, very important. All right, and then also make sure that you do not start the intermittent fasting, especially if you have any health conditions, without consulting with your doctor first, okay? Make sure you do that. All right. And most doctors, they actually, they would definitely, I remember a couple of clients recently, and even some friends prior to NuLifeFit that we would recommend that too, they would go to the doctor and the doctor would ask them, well, what are you doing? And they would say intermittent fasting, and they were like, well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. If